fans flying high to cheer on the orange and black at Wembley Stadium.
I wonder what they're going to do with those fans over there when they start saying that in the streets. Plus, meet the man who predicted the Cubs would win the 2016 World Series 23 years ago in his yearbook.
I might need to be worried about him. He could be coming for my job possibly if he's that good. We're talking to some showers out there tonight. I'll let you know when they'll move in here and what timing we should expect them to move out for your Thursday. Have your full forecast. That and more is coming up next. You're watching Cincinnati's WLWT News 5.
You're watching WLWT News 5, leading the way.
It's a showdown in London. Our Bengals are heading to Europe now to take on the Washington Redskins.
The team flies out tomorrow, but fans have been taking flight all week, including today, to cheer the team on. WLWT News 5's Eric Zarnitz caught up with some of the super fans as they're heading all across the world for their favorite football team.
Delta's colors may be blue and red, but for Flight 754, black and orange is the way to go. When you think of Wembley Stadium in London, England, this is probably what you picture, the epicenter for international soccer. But this Sunday, Wembley is going to be transformed, going from jolly old England into a hardcore football jungle.
Hootie! All right.
According to Herb Reisenfeld, who works for Providence Travel, more than 2,000 tickets have been sold to local fans who plan on taking the trip, making this a record for the NFL.
What I'm saying is that there's more from a local NFL team going to London than any team before in the many years that they've had this in London.
Today, close to 100 travelers have come together in this group alone to take in the sights and sounds of London. Everything from Windsor Castle to Big Ben and Parliament, and of course, the crown jewel Sunday morning, the Bengals calling England home as they host the Redskins.
I have not been out of the country, so I'm really excited about being in London, England.
Kathy Ehlers, a lifelong fan and season ticket holder since 1981, has been driving down from Columbus every weekend. Now that trip to a home game includes a flight, one she's taking with her sister.
You got to do Who Day, of course, and sing all the songs.
Do you have Who Day with a British accent?
No, I can't do that.
And they're both interested to see what American traditions translate.
The atmosphere for the game, I think it's going to be kind of festive. I don't know about the tailgating.
Now, the only thing better than going to London for a Bengals game, of course, would be coming home with a win. Reporting from CVG, Eric Zarnitz, WLWT News 5.
With all the pubs over there, I have a feeling they know how to tailgate.
Yeah,
They're just fine.
They'll find a beer.
Yeah, the cost of the 5-night trip is about $3,000, and for an additional $400, about half the group will be traveling to Paris for a day as well. And by the way, you know who else is going? Our own Elise Jesse. She's going to be traveling to London. She's going to have all the lead up to the game and the action from Wembley. Kickoff 9:30 in the morning on Sunday.
What an exciting assignment,
fun,
right?
yeah.
All right, so 1 down, 3 to go if you're a Cleveland fan.
Yeah, the Indians leading the World Series. They hammered the Cubs in Game 1 last night. Game 2 in Cleveland again tonight. And you were looking live at Progressive Field right now. Tonight's game, they actually moved up an hour, trying to avoid the rain that's coming in. So first pitch tonight is now 7:08. Last night, the Indians shut the Cubs out 6-0, taking the early lead in the best-of-7 series. Roberto Perez had a couple of home runs, and our hometown guy, Kyle Schwarber from Middletown, had a double in his first game of the season, coming back from that knee injury.
So you know it, some sports fans, probably you, I am a little bit. Fans, we can be pretty superstitious, but for one diehard Chicago Cubs fan, it was his prediction into the future that has everyone talking now. Mike Lee was a senior in high school back in 1993. He had to write a caption below his picture. Get this, he put Chicago Cubs 2016 World Champions. You heard it here first.
I don't know what to put. I'm not a big literature person. And then it came to me, I'm like, oh, I know, I'm going to put this. And it just came from like when I was a kid, I had a dream about it. It was up on the like that red scoreboard they have. It was, you know, with Harry Carey blasting away. Cubs win the World Series. It was pretty vivid. That's why I remembered it all the way through high school. And now I'm getting reminded again.
Well, you know, for all those Cubby fans, I hope Michael is right. By the way, Michael says that Cubby Blue runs deep in his family.
Cincinnati's certified most accurate forecast.
All right, we've seen a day take us through a couple of changes across the area. We started cloudy and cool, and it looks like we're going to end it on a warm and sunny note outside. Here's a live look from high atop Carew Tower. Plenty of sunshine. We've got a nice evening upon us. You want to see a classic textbook weather day when you have a warm front come through the area? Well, let me show you here on the temperature map. Look at late morning. Even at lunchtime, temperatures were still in the low 50s. Then we had the warm front come through around lunchtime between about 12 and 1. And look how temperatures began to soar as we head into the second half of the afternoon and here into the evening. And now we are just shy of 70 degrees outside right now. It's 68 officially at the airport. Winds have switched around to the south. They're out of the southeast at 9. As we go through the evening hours with a nice southerly wind across the area, temperatures are going to stay very, very mild. I mean, when you look across the Ohio Valley, it really is the tale of two complete seasons. Talking about Cleveland up there tonight, boy, lousy weather up around Cleveland. Temperatures are in the mid-40s tonight. But look at this. Here in Cincinnati, approaching the Ohio River, close to 70. And as you head down into parts of Kentucky, temperatures even climb into the low 80s. So over the next couple of hours, as our winds stay out of the south tonight, don't expect our temperatures to fall much once the sun sets. Now, we are awaiting the arrival of some rain, but as you see here on the weather map, that shower activity is just now beginning to make its way into western Indiana. So we're talking about still a good 5 to 6 hours off from any wet weather around here. So your evening looks nice and dry and on the mild side, with the threat of rain not really increasing until after midnight for us. Here's a look at Futurecast. Here's midnight, and you can see, other than some clouds, that's it. Still no rain across the area. This particular model wants to actually hold the shower activity even later, really into early tomorrow morning. And then we kind of have a wet, kind of damp and gloomy start. I don't think we're talking about a lot of rain here, but maybe some scattered showers first thing tomorrow morning, through maybe late morning even, and then by afternoon dealing with cloudy skies, and then skies will start to clear out tomorrow night and it will turn chilly. And then we begin to kick off our warm up into high gear heading into Friday. Looks like we're going to see lots of sunshine on Friday, temperatures in the middle to upper 60s, and then by the weekend our temperatures are jumping close to 80. Here's a look at your Halloween forecast. It's going to stay warm over the weekend and right through the first week of November. Look at this. For trick-or-treaters, Monday evening, temperatures will likely be close to 60 degrees as the kiddos head out. Here's a look at the forecast for tonight. Nice early with late showers. Again, it'll be after midnight, 56 for an overnight low. And then for tomorrow, morning rain, cloudy, a cool breeze with the afternoon. Look for a high in the low 60s. Here's your 7-day forecast. And look at this, 67 Friday, 78 on Saturday. I've brought the warm weather back for Sunday. I think we're going to stay in the low 70s. And when you think about the fact that we are closing out the month of October and welcoming in November, you do not expect to see this many 70s in the 7-day forecast.
You got to have 50s and 60s for Halloween. You can't have 70s.
You think?
Yes. 50s
I was going
and
to say,
60s.
oh, I disagree.
Okay. There's a
You don't have to wear a jacket.
Well, Halloween is almost here. That's for sure. It's coming no matter what.
And one town is trying to weed out the tricks from the treats, the items on the do not sell list for local stores.
Plus, a gumball machine surprise that has a mom calling the cops. We'll tell you about it when we come back on Cincinnati's WLWT News 5. Well, a Boston mother is in shock and pretty upset, as you can imagine, after she puts a quarter in a gumball machine and she gets a very different surprise.
Right. So Courtney Jones says that she was trying to treat her 7-year-old daughter with a toy, but what came out was anything but child-friendly, I should say. It was a cup full of pills.
And she said, "No, that's real medication." And we were just in shock, and I'm still in shock. I don't know how it happened. I don't know how it got in there.
The mother called police and confirmed the medication was likely for blood pressure. The restaurant has since removed the gumball machine. Police are working with them and the vendor, reviewing video and retracing steps to figure out how the pills got into the machine.
All right, what do you think about this? A Massachusetts town is taking a drastic step to stop Halloween tricksters. They're trying to restrict the sale of common items used for vandalism. So a letter from the police in the town of Abington contains a suggested no-sell list for local business owners. Police are hoping starting Friday and heading into the weekend that businesses will not sell spray paint, eggs, shaving cream, toilet paper, and soap to teenagers.
Safe, and I haven't had them egged or shaving creamed or anything. Of course, I give the big candy bars, so they better not egg me.
I did it.
What did you do?
Everything. Eggs, shaving cream, toilet paper. It's Halloween. It's a rite of passage. You know? They got to do something, you know? If you can't do something when you're young and stupid, they're just going to do it worse when they get older.
Never
Chris
know.
is very honest,
yeah,
though.
never know they're from Massachusetts at all from hearing them. Businesses that enforce the ban will ask for ID from young people who are buying these items.
All right, so for most of us, solving a Rubik's Cube is darn near impossible, right? But for one 12-year-old boy in Tucson, he can not only solve the puzzle, he does it using his feet. A YouTube video here of Luke Thorson solving the magic cube has gone viral. He found the Rubik's Cube while at summer camp and was immediately hooked. His personal best, 37 seconds using his hands. This past year, Luke has been sick and missed a lot of school. He hasn't been able to play on his football team, so he came up with another sport.
Just thought, feet and Rubik's Cubes, that would be hard. I wonder if I could do it. And the fact that me solving a magic cube with my feet, I guess it's entertaining to people.
His fancy footwork is earning him a little bit of money too. A website paid Luke's family $150 to host the video, plus pays the family per view.
And I feel suddenly inferior. There you go. Well, we're staying on top of this developing story in Mount Healthy. A mobile home actually explodes.
Right, and 2 people had to be rushed to the hospital here. What investigators say started this fire when we come back.
You're watching WLWT News 5, leading the way.
A couple had to be rushed to the hospital after their home exploded today. Good evening, I'm Cherie Palello.
And thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Mike Darda. Several explosions reported at a home in the Pines Mobile Home Park. This is in Mount Healthy this afternoon. WLWT News 5's Amanda Kelly live outside the home with what made this fire much worse than others. Amanda.
Well, Mike and Cherie, take a look at this destruction behind me here. This mobile home is completely in pieces, and now investigators are working to determine exactly what caused the fire and explosions. Now, this cell phone video we're showing you right now was taken across the street just after 1 o'clock this afternoon. You can see the black smoke billowing in the air. Neighbors here tell us they heard multiple explosions, and Mount Healthy's fire chief confirms those were from oxygen tanks inside the mobile home. Officials also confirmed the elderly couple who lived here was able to walk out of the trailer, but neighbors watched the woman collapse after walking a short distance. Many were amazed no one was killed and no other homes appeared to be damaged.
There was a lady laying in the grass and a man on oxygen coming out of there. And I called 911. I thought somebody was going to die.
And all you heard is boom. A couple minutes later, boom. A couple minutes later, boom again. Knocked all the pictures off my walls.
Now back out here live, you can see parts of the kitchen just scattered across the pavement here. The couple who lives here were both transported to UC Medical Center. Right now, we don't know their names or conditions. Investigators say it could be days before we have any idea exactly what happened here in Mount Healthy. Reporting live, Amanda Kelly, WLWT News 5.
All right, Amanda, thank you. New on WLWT, a problem bigger than anyone imagined.
Right, so $500,000 homes are slowly being torn apart by hillside or a hillside that's sliding. This is all happening along Riverside Drive, right near LeBlond Park in the East End. And as WLWT News 5's Brian Hamrick reports, the impact goes further than a single development.
Well, this is a bigger problem than anyone first realized. The ground is moving, pushing everything forward. This is no speed bump. This is a driveway snow plowing into the asphalt. And all of this, just the tip of the iceberg. Despite the scenery along Riverside Drive,
I really like the views.
Dr. Terry Joyner has a sense about her home that's very unsettling.
It seems to be opening rather quickly.
Cracks in the foundation, in the ceiling, floors, and walls. Engineers are confirming the worst fears of Terry and about a dozen of her neighbors.
They started to say to us, yes, your houses are moving, and they're moving at a pretty rapid pace. So that was alarming.
All along the 2100 block, a disaster is literally tearing homes apart. Only this one is unfolding in slow motion. Terry showed us reports she says are from geologists before the homes were built, estimating movement would be from 8 to 12 inches over 50 years. And recommended if homes were built, they should be no more than 2 stories high. Recommendations clearly not followed. But there's another problem.
The effects of the hillside slippage is much bigger than just this area. It probably runs in the range of 1.5 miles to 2 miles up and down Riverside Drive.
Patrick Orman, president of the East End Council, wants the city to stop the slippage.
We've got to have the city take a very serious look at this or lose one of the best, potentially the best, single-family housing area in the city.
For now, some in the East End are moving, even if they don't leave their homes. And until the slippage is stopped, even people who have put in over $100,000 in repair know it's only a matter of time before it all happens again. Brian Hamrick, WLWT News 5.
So the city has not said if they're going to take any action to help stop the hillside from slipping away.
Crucial decisions today about the evidence that can and cannot be introduced in the murder trial of former UC officer Ray Tenzing. Today, a judge ruled that Sam DuBose's medical and criminal records cannot be introduced at trial. He died after he was shot by Officer Tenzing during that traffic stop last July. DuBose's criminal history includes 46 convictions, most of those for driving without a license and misdemeanor marijuana offenses. While that cannot be used at trial, the fact that DuBose did have marijuana in his car the day of the shooting, that can be introduced to a jury.
And as the start of testimony approaches, there are many people in our community who have questions and concerns about the legal process.
And today, the Black Lawyers Association of Cincinnati holding a community forum designed to educate people on what they can expect to see during the trial.
WLWT News 5's Karen Johnson live for us in Walnut Hills tonight, where the event is being held. Karen.
And Sherry, it has not started yet. So if you have any questions at all regarding the upcoming Tenzing trial, you are invited here to the Christ Emmanuel Christian Fellowship to get your questions answered. It will be similar to the forum held just 2 weeks ago. But tonight, Municipal Court Judge Fanon Rucker will be answering questions along with defense attorney Rodney Harris and City Councilwoman Yvette Simpson. I'm told tonight they will go over the jury questionnaire that was provided to potential jurors yesterday. They'll discuss some of those questions. They'll also go over legal standards for murder and manslaughter, the 2 charges Tenzing is facing.
You may want to know, hey, what's the legal standard that the jury is going to have to decide? You know, what must be proven by the prosecutor for both the charges? What's the self-defense standard and how does it work? All those things we hope to be able to answer today.
And the forum starts in about an hour. It's scheduled to go from 6:30 to 8:30 tonight. The community is invited again. It's here at the Christ Emmanuel Christian Fellowship, which is on May Street in Walnut Hills. Reporting live tonight, Karen Johnson, WLWT News 5.
All right, Karen, WLWT will have team coverage throughout this big trial, and we will be streaming the trial live for you on our website if you want to watch, WLWT.com, and the WLWT News 5 mobile app. A driver arrested by police after crashing a stolen car outside a bank in Cheviot. Police tried to pull over the driver at the Roll Hill Apartments early this morning, but the driver took off. He eventually crashed near the Cincinnati Savings and Loan. That's on Harrison Avenue. Officers arrested the driver a few blocks away on Wardell Avenue.
Schools in Dayton, Kentucky were put on lockdown today after reports of a man with a gun near Dayton High School. Now, police were called to Clay Street this afternoon, but when they got there, they found out the gun was not real, luckily. The man with the toy gun told officers he was planning to play a joke on another family member. The toy gun was seized and schools reopened. No charges were filed.
All right, back to politics now. Campaigns have been focused on getting out the vote, and in some local counties, the message seems to be getting out among Republican voters. WLWT News 5's Andrew Setters has a look at some of the numbers.
We are less than 2 weeks out from the election, and early voting continues in person here at the Hamilton County Board of Elections, and at least here, it's down a little bit from years past. Election day is November 8th, but early voting is underway, both in person and by mail. People have been casting ballots since the middle of October.
We've had a steady flow of voters since it began on October 12th.
In Hamilton County this year, the number of registered Democrats voting early is about the same compared to the last presidential election. Among registered Republicans, it's up about 10%. In Butler County, we're seeing a much bigger change. Requests from registered Republicans are up almost 40%. Among Democrats, they're up more than 60%. But what it really comes down to is election day, and at the Hamilton County Board, they are gearing up for crunch time.
we are on schedule. Everything is running well. We'll be ready come November 8th.
Absentee ballots have been rolling in. Those won't be counted until Election Day. And in the meantime, the Board of Elections is working to make sure everything goes smoothly on the big day.
It's really something that's pretty incredible to witness because it's Democrats and Republicans coming together, working with the goal of a fair and efficient elections. Politics gets put aside, and it's all about running a fair election. And they're working very hard and very long hours these days to make that happen.
Early voting continues up until Election Day. We have information on our website, WLWT.com, about the times and dates you need to know. From the Board of Elections, Andrew Setters, WLWT News 5.
Could be a lot of factors influencing the increased number of early ballot requests for some voters, but one big change that's happened this election cycle, Ohio's Secretary of State sent absentee voter request forms to every voter. In years past, it was up to each voter to fill out the form and make the request to vote by mail. Coming up in a bit at 6 o'clock, we're going to hear from Chelsea Clinton and her message about early voting and the future of America's health care system during a stop today for her mother in Cincinnati.
All right, well, the Bengals are ready to take their show to another continent now, but head coach Marvin Lewis is treating it like any other week.
Yeah, the team will practice here again tomorrow before finally boarding a plane for London on Thursday.
And sports director George Vogel joining us now with a look at the game that is important to both teams, right, George?
Yeah, no doubt about it. The Bengals really need this game, and it's big for the Washington Redskins as well. And the schedule says it's a home game for the Bengals, but they will be 4,000 miles away in London, playing at 9:30 on Sunday morning. The Bengals have been working on this for at least 6 months. Their first shipment of supplies left Paul Brown Stadium back in August, and we'll be waiting for them when they arrive early Friday morning. It's definitely different from any other road game, but it's something the NFL has been pushing. This is the 10th year for NFL games at Wembley Stadium.
Even without, NFL Europe still existing, football seems to still be something that people there want to come out and look at and see. So, and I think obviously, this is our first experience, but, the NFL and so forth that continues to put it on in management, they still feel that there's obviously an audience and a thirst for NFL football there.
Marvin says he will try to make it as normal as possible once they land in England. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we're going to hear what the players have to say, including one who scouted out London during the offseason. From the newsroom, I'm George Vogel, WLWT News 5.
All right, George, our own Elise Jesse will be traveling to London, and she's going to have all the lead up to the big game, then the action from Wembley. Kickoff is set for Sunday morning at 9:30. National Guard members asked to give back thousands in recruitment bonuses.
Yeah, tonight, a top military commander weighs in about the bonuses and what he's doing to help Guard members caught in the middle.
Money matters. I'm Nicole Killian in Washington with what role the economy is playing this election, how the candidates plan to address this bread and butter issue, coming up.
And temperatures have spiked this evening across the area. That, of course, ahead of some showers I'm tracking, but those are still way out to our west. So the question is, when will they get here and how long will this warm weather be sticking around? I'm tracking all the fast-paced changes, and I'll outline the timeline coming up. You're watching Cincinnati's WLWT News 5.
Commitment 2016 now. Pocketbook politics in play. Many polls show the economy is still the #1 issue for voters.
And WLWT News 5's Nicole Killian is breaking down the difference between the two candidates on jobs, taxes, and much more.
In 2016, it's still the economy.
I will bring back jobs. You can't bring back jobs.
Well, I call it trumped up. Trickle down.
From debates to policy speeches, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump have made it one of the centerpieces of the campaign.
We will rebuild the middle class.
I want to jumpstart America.
How do their plans stack up? Clinton says she will create the boldest job investment since World War II with new commitments to infrastructure. She also wants to make college debt-free and reform the tax code by closing loopholes benefiting the wealthy. Trump proposes cutting the number of tax brackets and slashing the rate for businesses to spur growth. He also wants a temporary hold on new regulations and to renegotiate U.S. trade deals.
Hillary Clinton wants to continue present policy, increase taxes on the rich, take the money and spend it on infrastructure. Donald Trump wants to cut taxes dramatically and he wants to, in fact, use that money also for infrastructure. The problem with both plans is they do nothing about the growing federal debt.
One area of agreement.
We need working mothers to be fairly compensated.
A lot of families are just so stressed out.
More support for families coping with the rising cost of childcare.
There is a recognition from both sides that this is not just a woman's issue right now, that this is an economic issue for all American workers.
Both candidates are calling for paid family leave. Clinton also wants to cap child care expenses at 10% of a family's income, while Trump would allow families to deduct the cost from their taxes. In Washington, Nicole Killian, WLWT News 5.
And as we head into the home stretch for you of this campaign, stay with us on air and on WLWT Mobile for the very latest updates from the campaign trail.
The U.S. Defense Secretary is suspending a controversial effort to force thousands of guardsmen to repay enlistment bonuses. The Department of Defense says an audit found the California National Guard approved bonuses of up to $15,000 to Guard members who didn't qualify for them. The Department of Defense demanded they pay the money back. The collection effort drew criticism from Congress and Guard members.
Subaru now recalling one of its top-selling models because of some concerns about a possible fire hazard. The automaker now recalling certain models of its Legacy and Outback vehicles. The vehicles are made between 2007 and 2014. Subaru says its turbocharger air pumps can overheat, melt, and catch fire. If you see your vehicle here on the recall list, go to our website, WLWT.com.
Cincinnati's certified most accurate forecast.
Well, it certainly felt like fall early this morning with these clouds and the chilly temperatures, but now it feels more like spring out there here late this evening with sunshine and temperatures just shy of 70 for a good number of us. I hope you enjoy this evening because unlike the past several evenings, this one's going to be much milder for you. We've got winds that are out of the south now, and that is a warm direction. So here's a look at your evening forecast, and it's a nice one too. 67 at 7 o'clock, by 9 down to 63, by 11 down to 61. So we will stay in the 60s this evening versus dropping back into the 40s. Even some of you may remember here during the evening hours over the past several days have even been in the upper 30s come 10, 11 o'clock. So a big change happening right now. 68 degrees at the airport. We've got ourselves a southeasterly breeze at around 9. We're getting a nice surge or a nice push of warm air up the Ohio River tonight. Notice 40s to our north, 70s near 80 to our south. So that surge of warm air is in advance of this approaching storm system tonight that has a very narrow, thin band of showers in association with it. This system's going to be running into dry air as it moves into our neck of the woods. I'm not even confident everyone will see rain from this overnight tonight and into early tomorrow. Here's a look at Futurecast. No problems, nothing to really worry about out there this evening. Again, it's going to be nice and dry and on the mild side, unseasonably mild for an October evening. After midnight, I do think we'll run the risk of seeing some showers get in here. This particular model wants to hold the showers off even later, after sunrise tomorrow. I think there's kind of a window here, basically. Anytime from midnight through, let's say, maybe 9 or 10 tomorrow morning, we run the risk of seeing some scattered showers. But I want to point out, did you notice you really didn't see any yellows, reds, or oranges on here? So don't expect anything heavy. I'm not expecting any thunderstorms, nothing like what we dealt with last week. And then it looks like we'll deal with some clouds lingering through the day tomorrow. It will be noticeably cooler, and as skies clear tomorrow night, it will be chilly, but that won't last long either because we've got a big time warm up setting shape as we head into the upcoming weekend. It looks great for high school football tomorrow night, but even better on Saturday. Check this out here. So the jet streams to the north today, we warmed up. That's why we got close to 70. We'll get a little buckle in that, and that will bring some chilly air in here for tomorrow night. However, I want you to note the yellows, the oranges on this temperature map. Another large area of mild Pacific air will stream across the country. And as we head into Saturday, temperatures will come close to 80 degrees for highs. And then on Sunday, we'll likely still be in the 70s. And for basically a good part of next week, temperatures will remain well above normal. 70s, lots of 70s are in the 7-day. So here's your Halloween forecast. Mentioning mild, it's going to be that way come Halloween too. Looks good for trick-or-treating right now. It should be nice and dry with temperatures pretty close to 60 out there Monday evening. So 56 for a low tonight. Nice early with the threat for some showers again after midnight. It'll be a bit on the breezy side. Tomorrow, morning rain, cloudy, then a cool breeze for the afternoon. Temperatures during the day tomorrow will be in the 50s, and you'll see that here in the day planner. Notice we never really climb much tomorrow because of the clouds most of the day. It's going to be a gloomy day with a chilly breeze. Here's your 7-day forecast. 67 on Friday, 78, maybe even 80. It's not out of the question on Saturday. In the low 70s on Sunday. Sunday looks decent. I do still have that shower threat in there for right now. Doesn't look like a big deal though. And then there's a look at early next week. How about for the first few days of November? Highs will be in the low to mid 70s.
Sound good?
Sounds very good, right?
Yeah.
We'll take it.
Yes,
Late
because we have to.
October. No, we'll take it
No choice.
anytime. All right, also tonight, some promising new research tonight to help children. Maybe you have a child with severe peanut allergies. I know it can be so frightening, and here's help.
One little patch could help your body tolerate some exposure to peanuts.
Plus, destruction on the Hollywood Walk of Fame here. Why this man says he is now taking aim at Donald Trump's famous star. You're watching Cincinnati's WLWT. A big grant to help fund medical research at the University of Kentucky. The National Institute of Research awarding the university close to $20 million today.
And it's not the first time. It's going to fund 100 science and research projects over the next 4 years. The university's healthcare center focuses on improving health disparities in Kentucky and Appalachia.
While this trifecta of competitive grants positions us to recruit the brightest scientific minds and host potentially transformational clinical trials.
This is the second grant from the National Health Institute. UK received $20 million back in 2011.
Well, some new hope tonight from a new treatment aimed at helping kids with severe peanut allergies. This patch here releases tiny amounts of peanut protein through the skin, training the immune system to tolerate small exposures to peanuts. A new study found half of those who used the patch were able to eat small amounts of peanuts safely. Larger studies are still needed before the patch is going to be approved for wider use. Well, a man dressed as a construction worker on the Hollywood Walk of Fame caused quite a commotion last night, destroying Donald Trump's star.
They're used to seeing everything out there in Hollywood, so this was no shocker, I guess, for them. The man just took a sledgehammer and a pickaxe right to the star and took Trump's name. He told people who were standing around that he was just trying to remove the star to auction it off and raise money for women who have accused Trump of sexual misconduct. The man took off, though, before police could get there and catch him.
All right, next at 6 o'clock, a fight over what evidence the jury's going to be able to hear during the UC police officer's murder trial.
From Sam DuBose's criminal history to his recent medical records, what the judge will and won't allow in the case of the officer on trial.
Plus, tonight, an arrest in a shot-fired incident that had UC's campus on lockdown last week. What police say led up to an 18-year-old pulling the trigger.
A major ruling in the Ray Tenzing murder trial, the evidence that will not be shown to the jury. Plus more room for the public, the new place opening its doors to people wanting to watch the trial.
And multiple explosions and a fire destroys a Mount Healthy home. What investigators think may have caused it.
This is WLWT News 5, leading the way.
A husband and wife escaped from a fire and explosions inside their home. Good evening, I'm Cherie Pallella.
And I'm Mike Dardis. This fire broke out at the Pine Mobile Home Park on Hamilton Avenue. WLWT News 5's Amanda Kelly live for us tonight in Mount Healthy with more. Amanda.
Well, Mike and Cherie, investigators are busy trying to determine exactly what caused this mobile home to catch fire in the multiple explosions that neighbors heard throughout the afternoon. This cell phone video we have shows you the black smoke that was billowing in the air earlier today. The entire front side of the mobile home blew off and insulation scattered all over, and everything inside the home is charred. Mount Healthy's fire chief says oxygen tanks inside the home exploded, but the elderly couple who lives here were able to somehow make it out. They were rushed to UC Hospital. Neighbors nearby talked with us shortly after those explosions and told us their home shook and some even went running to help rescue their neighbors.
We were going to try to help to get the people out, and that's when the explosion happened, and there was like shrapnel flying, so we just ran.
It was like boom, boom, like thunder and lightning hitting something. It was very, very loud, like a wrecking ball.
Now, again, the husband and wife who lived here were rushed to UC Medical Center. Right now, their names and conditions are not being released. Investigators say it could be days before they know exactly what happened here in Mount Healthy. Reporting live tonight, Amanda Kelly, WLWT News 5.
Amanda, thank you. 4 big questions answered today in Ray Tenzing's murder case. The former UC police officer about to go on trial for shooting and killing Sam DuBose during that traffic stop.
And Judge Megan Shanahan ruled on motions that could have a big impact on the outcome of Ray Tenzing's trial. WLWT News 5's investigative reporter Todd Dykes live for us with what happened today in court. Todd.
Yes, Cherie, both sides argued about 4 key issues. Should the following information be brought up when the trial starts? Sam DuBose's medical records, his criminal past, the amount of marijuana in his system when he died, and just how much pot was in the car that he was driving. Ray Tenzing returned to court today as his attorney tried to convince Judge Megan Shanahan the jury should be allowed to hear certain information.
It's all relevant evidence. It's evidence of what DuBose was up to.
Tenzing is about to go on trial for murder. He's the former UC officer who shot and killed Sam DuBose during a traffic stop, which was recorded by Tenzing's body camera. Today, defense attorney Stu Matthews argued information about DuBose's criminal background, his medical records, and marijuana use should be admissible during trial. Judge Shanahan denied Matthews on 3 of 4 counts, which means the jury will only be allowed to know how much marijuana was found in the car DuBose was driving.
It is appropriate that the marijuana that was found in the vehicle come in during the course of the trial if the defense so chooses to present that.
It's not surprising. I mean, I think it's fair that the jury hears that.
While disappointed Shanahan ruled no on 3 of his 4 requests, Tenzing's attorney said he's ready to show jurors his client feared for his life before he shot DuBose in the head.
The evidence is that he was rapidly driving away when this happened, and Ray was caught up in the car.
During the hearing, prosecutors acknowledged the car DuBose was driving did start pulling away, but Joe Dieter says it only moved about 15 inches when Tenzing fired his gun. Matthews says he thinks the body cam shows DuBose was trying to floor it.
When the evidence comes out at trial, it will be closer to what I say.
Now, I did have a chance to ask Stu Matthews about Ray Tenzing's state of mind ahead of Monday's jury selection. Matthews said Tenzing is scared to death. Matthews said that Tenzing is glad resolution is finally close at hand. Reporting live downtown, Todd Dykes, WLWT News 5.
All right, Todd, courtroom space and security issues causing concern about access for some here in the community. But today, a bit of a compromise that will get more of the public into the main courthouse. WLWT News 5's Curtis Fuller continues our team coverage right now.
The public has a right to have access to watch the trial. That's a part of the whole democratic, process.
For some, access equals transparency in this high-profile murder trial of Ray Tenzing. Only a handful of seats are available to the public in Judge Megan Shanahan's courtroom. The overflow pushed to the Justice Center, a television set up either in the lobby or courtroom B. The Black Lawyers Association of Cincinnati said the overflow option was not acceptable.
We had, of course, an appreciation for how the community would feel if they found out that they had to watch the trial, at the Justice Center right where the county jail is.
Today, the Black Lawyers Association met with Hamilton County Presiding Judge Robert Ruhlman and Assistant Presiding Judge Melba Marsh. Both agreed to preserving the public's viewing options in the main courthouse. So a second courtroom will open that will hold about 100 people. The Justice Center still remains a second option.
It's a high-profile trial that certainly means that we have to pay attention to accessibility for the public.
We talked to a few people who watched the large monitor in the Justice Center lobby today about this issue of access.
I think it's very beneficial. I mean, everybody should, have the right to know what's going on.
I think it's a step in the right direction. I think the transparency, they're trying to make transparency with showing as much as they can, giving, the people in the community the resources that they need to make their own informed decisions.
Now, that overflow room here at the main courthouse will be in room 580. Actually, that is on the same floor as the courtroom where the Tenzing trial is taking place. Now, you still have to go through the same security checks here at the courthouse, so people should be aware of that. And of course, you know, a lot of people can just watch this on their mobile device or on their computers because this is being streamed live. Reporting live, I'm Curtis Fuller, WLWT News 5.
Great reminder there, Curtis. WLWT will have team coverage throughout the trial, and we will stream it live not only on our website, WLWT.com, but also on the WLWT mobile app.
New on WLWT tonight, an arrest made in a shot being fired on UC's campus last week. This was a big deal. Police say it all started when Anthony Pierre ripped off some UC students during a marijuana drug deal, but the 18-year-old apparently dropped his phone and the students picked it up. Court documents show when Pierre went to meet those same students to swap out the marijuana for his phone, he fired a single shot and ran away. No one was hurt, but students were briefly told to shelter in place that evening while police were investigating. Pierre is going to be arraigned on inducing panic and discharging a firearm near a school tomorrow.
Tonight, responding to racially charged pictures at Xavier University. Hundreds of students and faculty came to a meeting put on by the university's bias advisory and response team. The university wanted to figure out a way to move forward after two racially charged photos blew up on social media. One of the photos showing a female student in blackface with a caption reading, "Who needs white when Black Lives Matter?" Another photo showed a hanging skeleton in African attire.
Election day is, well, less than 2 weeks away now. Candidates and their supporters are hitting the campaign trail very hard here in Ohio. Chelsea Clinton visited Cincinnati today before then stopping in Columbus and Cleveland later this afternoon. And WLWT News 5's Alexis Rogers was at the event this morning and joins us now with what Clinton had to say to voters.
Chelsea Clinton took the stage here at the Transept and Over the Rhine to encourage voters to know the issues and to get out there and vote. Clinton supporters welcome Chelsea Clinton to Cincinnati with enthusiasm.
We got 13 days! This thing is almost over.
And excitement.
I bought this shirt online.
As candidates battle for Ohio, voters have important issues on their minds.
The Ohio voters are really concerned about the health issues, gun laws, the Supreme Court.
Jobs, clearly. I mean, I think the economy here is so interesting and diverse and mixed. I'm in IT, and I have been most of my career, but I know there's a heavy dependency on manufacturing jobs, on coal mining jobs.
Clinton says she looks at the election with the perspective of a mom.
I now have children in the world whose lives and future will be shaped by whomever we elect to succeed President Obama.
Calling Donald Trump's recent nasty woman comment a distraction.
I never thought I would see in my lifetime the almost daily diet of hate speech that seems to be Donald Trump's main campaign strategy. The racism, the sexism, the Islamophobia, the homophobia, the rhetoric against Americans, the rhetoric against our veterans.
Supporters say this election is important.
Well, that we make a difference, and it's our vote, every vote counts. And what I'm thrilled about is I have so many Republican women friends who are voting for Hillary. Yay, because it's just a logical choice.
Clinton says it starts with a vote.
We have to turn Ohio blue up and down the ballot, and I know we'll do that with your support.
Chelsea Clinton visited multiple cities in Ohio today. After she left here from Cincinnati, she headed over to Columbus and then to Cleveland. She says that since today is her mother's birthday, the best birthday present she can receive is a lot of early votes. Reporting in Over the Rhine, Alexis Rogers, WLWT News 5.
All right, so Donald Trump is headed to Ohio tomorrow. The GOP presidential nominee is going to be in Springfield, Toledo, and Geneva. Today, he took a small break from the campaign trail to open up his new hotel in Washington, D.C. He has 2 stops in North Carolina before heading to Ohio tomorrow.
Voters across Ohio have been casting their ballots early for a couple weeks now. The Hamilton County Board of Elections has uncovered a couple of bogus voter registrations. They have been caught and they're now wiped out of the system. But Elections Director Sherry Poland explains what they found.
We have had 3 instances of someone registering in the name of an individual who's deceased. But our system flagged that information. We caught it early. We actually even sent bipartisan teams out to the home addresses that were on these new registration forms to make sure that no one by that name with that information was living there.
Poland says they will be looking at the registrations and determine if they need to be handed over to the prosecutor's office for possible criminal charges. Kentucky also warning of voter fraud. Attorney General Andy Beshear is urging people in Kentucky to report any voting oddities to the election fraud hotline. So here's the number, 800-328-VOTE. Again, 800-328-8683.
Northern Kentucky drivers, get ready for a major headache.
That's ridiculous. There's no way people are going to be able to get to work on time.
Well, she's not happy about it. The change is being made to the 7175 construction zone, sure to create long delays over the weekend.
And I'm tracking some showers on radar tonight, but they're still well out to our west. So I'll talk about what that means for your evening plans and what to expect as we get ready to close out the week. A big time warm up is on the way. I have your full forecast coming up next. You're watching Cincinnati's WLWT News 5.
You're watching WLWT News 5, leading the way.
Well, consider this your advance warning. Get ready for long delays on 7175 in Northern Kentucky this weekend.
Yeah, I feel your pain. I live over there too. Traffic is going to be down to one lane over this weekend. And WLWT News 5's Tammy Mutasi is here now with the impact these changes are going to have on you and just how long we're going to have to deal with this mess. Hi, Tammy.
Hi, Mike and Sheree. Now, don't say we didn't warn you. 3 lanes going down to 1 lane on 7175. If you think rush hour traffic is usually bad, just wait and see this weekend.
It's the pain before the payoff. That's ridiculous. There's no way people are going to be able to get to work on time.
3 lanes going down to 1 lane along the I-71-75 northbound construction zone from 275 to Buttermilk Pike. It starts Friday at 10 p.m. and goes until Monday at 6 a.m.
I can't even imagine how they're going to be able to do that.
It's going to be hectic for 1 lane, but I think we're almost done with it.
Crews have been replacing old pavement on the interstate. Now they need to get traffic lanes back to their original design.
It's a process. It's going to take the weekend. There's definitely going to be some delays and backups.
The project is almost done, but it's been tough. Erlanger police say they responded to 258 crashes along the 2-mile construction stretch from July to October. That's up 300% compared to the same time last year.
The contraflow lane, which helped with traffic flow, in and of itself was problematic if there was a collision or a motorist assist that couldn't be moved because traffic could not pass, and then you had a choking point which backed up to the other parts of the interstate.
First, drivers have to get through this weekend before the entire project is finished by December 1st.
We're seeing the finish line, and I think everybody will definitely look forward to that.
You know, you lose sleep, you have to leave early, get your kids to where they need to be. So it'll be nice, but, you know, that's a month of pure horror until then.
And December 1st couldn't come fast enough for drivers. Officials say the best thing to do is really find another route or you'll be stuck in really bad traffic. Tammy Mutasa, WLWT News 5.